What is Constitution? Constitution is basically a written set of rules and regulations. It is a compact document that comprises certain number of articles. It also specifies that how the state is constituted, managed and governed to create minimal coordination among the members of the society. So yes, we can say that Constitution is a compact document which is comprised of a number of articles related to state, its formation, its management, its governance, so that nobody in the society goes against each other and minimal coordination in the society could be achieved. So this slide is related to mode of promulgation, which means that how a constitution comes into being, like who crafted the constitution and how much authority did they have on the constitution. So mode of promulgation के according, formally our Indian constitution was created by Constituent Assembly between December 1946 and November 1949. It drew upon a long history of the nationalist movement that had a remarkable ability to take along different sections of Indian society together. It was based on national consensus, and Indian leaders also supported this idea. It was implemented on 26 January 1950, and it almost took 2 years, 11 months and 18 days to complete its formation. So this slide is related to how was the Indian Constitution made. Let us find out that how the Indian Constitution was made. We can say that formally the Indian Constitution was created by Constituent Assembly, which was then elected for undivided India. It held its first sitting on 9 December 1946 and it reassembled as a Constituent Assembly for divided India on 14 August 1947. The members of Constituent Assembly were indirectly elected under Government of India Act 1935, and the composition of the Assembly was based on a plan given by the British government, popularly known as Cabinet Mission Plan. Cabinet Mission Plan was a committee created by British Cabinet, and according to this plan, each province and each princely state, or you can say group of states, were allotted seats in proportion to their respective population, roughly in the ratio of 1:10 lakh. As a result, the provinces that were under the direct British rule were to elect 292 members, as written here, and 93 members were elected from princely states. According to the second provision of the Cabinet Mission Plan, seats in each province were distributed among three main communities, as you can see here, Muslims, Sikhs and General, in proportion to their respective populations. The third provision of British Cabinet Mission Plan says that members of each provinces were to be elected by the method of PR system, and representatives of princely states were to be determined by consultation. So this topic is related to composition of the Constituent Assembly. As a consequence of the partition under the plan of 3rd June 1947, yes, you heard it right, I am repeating the plan of 3rd June 1947, those members who were elected from territories which fell under Pakistan ceased to be the members of the Constituent Assembly. The number of members in the Assembly was reduced to 299, and the Constitution was adopted on 26th of November 1949. And on the day of 24th January 1950, only 284 members were appending their signature to the Constitution as finally passed. So Indian Constitution came into force on 26 January 1950. The Constitution was thus framed against the backdrop of horrendous violence that the partition unleashed on the subcontinent. There were 28 members from the scheduled caste in the Indian Constituent Assembly, and as predicted, Congress dominated the Constituent Assembly. The principle of deliberation. The authority of the Constituent Assembly does not come only from the fact that it was broadly, though not perfectly, representative. It comes from the procedures it adopted to frame the constitution, and the most important procedure which Indian Constituent Assembly adopted to frame the constitution was called as the principle of deliberation. Diverse sections of society participated in the deliberations. There were disagreements to protect their self-interest as well. One issue which was passed without any debate during the procedure of forming the Indian Constitution was the issue of universal adult suffrage. This process of constitution making requires each clause to be scrutinized and debated well. The importance of public reason was emphasized in the mundane procedures of the assembly as well. The Constituent Assembly of India had 8 major committees. Nehru, Prasad, and Ambedkar chaired the major committees. Ambedkar was a major critic of Congress and Gandhi, and he worked for the upliftment of scheduled caste, mainly downtrodden sections of the society. Patel and the Nehru, on the other hand, disagreed on many issues. Each committee was assigned to draft a proposal on which debates were held. Some provisions were also subjected to vote. Assembly usually met for 166 days, spread over 2 years and 11 months. So our Indian Constitution had a long history. It was formed under a lot of pressure. It was also based on historical nationalist movement and Indian circumstances. So during the formation of Indian Constitution, it was also incorporated with the values of objective resolution. This resolution was the idea moved by Nehru in the year 1946. It is a resolution that defined the aims of the assembly. It also gave expression to fundamental commitments like the ideas of equality, the idea of liberty, the idea of democracy, the idea of sovereignty, and the idea of cosmopolitan identity. So the question which arises now is that why do we need the constitution? Like, what is the importance of Indian Constitution? Indian Constitution basically provides a set of basic rules, written basic rules to ensure minimum coordination among all members of the society. It specifies that who has the power to make decisions in the society and how the government should be constituted. It also sets some limits on what a government can impose on its citizen and what a government cannot do, so that the government cannot trespass its own powers. Basically, our Indian Constitution put limitations on the ambit of the government. It also enables the government to fulfill the aspirations, goals, and objectives of the society and to create conditions for a just society. So, Indian Constitution adopted different provision from the constitution of different countries. Like from Britain, Indian Constitution adopted the idea of FPTP, parliamentary form of government, the idea of rule of law, the role of speaker and its powers, also the lawmaking procedure. From the Constitution of America, India adopted the idea of fundamental rights, judicial review, and the independence of judiciary. From French Constitution, India adopted the principles of liberty, equality, and fraternity. From Canadian Constitution, India adopted quasi federal system and the idea of residuary powers. From Irish Constitution, India adopted the concept of directive principles of state policy.